Hey there, it's day 104. It's Juju. And today I'm going to be talking about building friendships and community as an adult. And this is all based on the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins. And I'd done a different video talking about my various friendships and how I'm very successful at maintaining friendships, adult friendships, and communities. I have a lot of communities. And I realized that, even though I know all of these things, I like the way that she puts it in this book as far as, it as a helpful guide to a way of thinking about things. And of course, with the let them, it's let them, let others be who they are, think what they want to think. It's not your responsibility to change them. You just can only be in charge of you. And that's let me see how I react to this. That's within your control. So she tells the story of moving to a new town and not knowing anyone. And it took her a year. So she first says it takes a year to establish friendships and communities, which seems like a long time, but if you don't do anything, that year is going to come anyway. So she moved to this town and she would go to the coffee shop daily. She'd see all these people, but she, never connected with anyone. She felt sorry for herself and was staying home. So then what she decided to do, the first thing is she said, so the first rule in establishing friendships and community is go first. You go first. You're the one to approach. You're the one to make the effort repeatedly, whether it's, accepted or failed. And, thinking about this is exactly what I did on Monday when I met Joseph and Josephine. And they said no one has ever done this because I think people are really uncomfortable with being the one to go first. So what she does is she goes to the coffee shop and she's been going there for a year, and then she asks the barista his name. And once she says, my name's Kevin. She's like, hi, Kevin. Then she goes, and this is an important something helpful for me because I have a really bad memory when it comes to name. And she wrote down the distinct, Kevin, the barista. Then she saw these guys that had, and she said, hi, I'm Juju, and I'm pretty new here, and I've seen you in the coffee shop before. What's your name? Gets their names. The next day, she, continues to build acquaintances, trying to find the people with the energy that she matches. So the first rule that she talks about is going first. And then her other advice, and I think this is useful for all of us, compliment people wherever you go. It's always so easy to find something nice to say, and people do appreciate it. I love it. I was walking the loop the other day, and a construction guy said, "Oh, I like your dress." That was very sweet. Be curious. Ask people about, I've never met a person that doesn't have an interesting story to tell. Smile and say hello to anyone and everyone you pass or meet. This happens in my neighborhood. When I'm walking, I wave at every vehicle that goes by, whether I know them or not. And I probably wouldn't know if I know them because I don't recognize car. And do all of this without any expectation. Now, if everyone did that, it would just be a more pleasant world with more positive interactions. And, even if you didn't, make new friends. The other point she makes is in friendships, it's proximity, it's timing, and it's energy, because you have those people that you instantly connect with, but are they living close to you is a question. Because it's easier if you're a neighbor to just, hey, come over, let's play games tonight, than, okay, I'm going to drive half an hour on short notice to come play games. And so she makes that point, oh, you can feel the sun coming out. So that she talks about once you've made your friends, then to establish a community. And I did this here in my community. When I moved here, I've been here for 22 years, so I am well established in my community. But I noticed my husband had made a lot of friends with the guys, and they're hanging out in the driveway and drinking beer. But it's like, I know there's got to be a bunch of interesting women here. So I decided to start a book club. I wanted to... I met one person who was a member of the community, and she knew a lot of women. And so then the women came, and we've been having that book club for at least 20 years. So starting a book club, I've started another anti-racist book club. The book club got too small, so then I started the, Lone Peak Zayane Women's Social Group. And so it's just a way to establish the community. So her advice, this is Mel Robbins again with the Let Them, is look for events and groups and classes that interest you, first of all, that you're connecting with, and then, so it's like, could be anything: yoga, running, walking, cooking, painting, improv, furniture refinishing, and then try to find people, go to that. So then you got people with similar interests. And then the next thing is, take it to, invite people. So there's a local clothing swap here once a month. And we have a whole group of women that come and bring clothes they want to get rid of, and they would come back with a whole new wardrobe. And so take it out of the class, and as you meet more people, look for events that are interesting and reach out to the people that you're talking about. So I thought that was I'd been doing all these things before I read the book, but I think that it's a good reminder, especially since there are so many people who have moved and are feeling lonely, and friendship is so important. And I think we would have a much better world if more people really reached out, or even just taken those tips of smiling and complimenting and just being nice. So this is Juju, unfiltered, unedited, unscripted, and as always, lead with love.